I did. But then I had to look at John and go, well, that stops if you sold them.
You know, you're a person of action. You need to call the ethics commission and say, is there really not an online version of this thing where I can go in and just update it each year?
There needs to be.
I mean, that, it just seems like that should be.
Do you really think that far advanced, though?
Co-op training that we
There's so
had.
much other stuff.
So if I read this, I get hours for it?
No,
Unless a student.
not quite that easy. Nice try though. It'd be cool if you get away with that.
I didn't realize that.
My wife.
You bet. Fire away.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the January school board meeting. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and holiday break and ready for a new and prosperous and productive 2019. I know I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure everyone's got a bunch of New Year's resolutions, and hope they all hold true. I guess that's my wish. Dr. Rollins, board, had the agenda for the meeting tonight. Any questions, changes, or
Mr. President, the agenda would stand as presented.
I make a motion, we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
have a motion by Mr. Luttrell and a second by Mr. Dotson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You've also had the minutes from the previous meeting. Any changes, corrections, or questions about the minutes from the previous meeting?
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Hutchinson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the time we have reserved for patron comments. You're welcome to come to the podium, state your name, your concern, question, or comment to the board. Just understand we cannot take any action on that tonight, but we would value your comments. And there is none. Dr. Rollins.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our student representative from Har-BER High School this evening. And just this comment, as you look at the descriptors, we love to see our students engaged in school, involved in every imaginable way. Georgia, if you'd come forward to the microphone and lead us in our pledge, and then I'll come back to this introduction. We're very glad to have you with us this evening.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Georgia, again, if you'll come back, we'll just keep you up in front of us here this evening. We're so very pleased to have you with us. It's my pleasure to just share with the board and those in the audience some background information about you and your involvement in school. And you are involved in so many ways, and we salute you for that. Georgia Milham is a senior. Her parents are Brian and Timmy Green, and her mom, I believe, is with us this evening. We're very glad to have you as well. Georgia takes rigorous courses and enjoys learning and studying to prepare herself for a great future. She's a student council secretary at Har-BER High. She's a senior class council administrative liaison. She is the community service coordinator for the Har-BER chapter of the National Honor Society. Georgia is a member of the Principals Council. She's a tuba section leader in the Har-BER High Band. She's actively involved in her community through the Springdale Youth Council, which is a group of 13 students selected by the mayor of Springdale to learn about our city. Last year, she served as vice president of this group, and she's currently the ex officio and answers any questions the new class may have. George is also the treasurer of the National Legacy Bank Board in Springdale. We're so pleased to have you this evening. I know our board and members in the audience would love to hear your comments about your year. Tell us how things are going to school.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and I am very excited to be here. I have enjoyed all of my experience at Springdale and at Har-BER High School. I'm thankful for all of my teachers, my classmates, and the ability here in Springdale. For example, the one thing that I really appreciate is band. The band programs are very well taken care of, and that has been something that I really love doing, as well as serving my community through everything that I'm involved in and everything that the school allows us to have. And so with that, after graduation of HAR-BER High School, I plan to attend college. I have been accepted into the University of Oklahoma, the University of Alabama, the University of Arkansas, Oklahoma State, and I'm waiting for the University of Georgia and the University of Stanford in April, and I will therefore be making my decision in May.
Wow.
So what do you plan to study?
Yes, I want to study political science. I would like to serve my community and continue doing that.
Is there a front runner in those 5 or 6 universities that you mentioned?
Right now it's the University of Oklahoma is my first choice.
Okay.
Might add Clemson to that list. That's very impressive.
Are you going to be doing the band when you're in college also?
Yes, I will be doing the band. I've actually been sending out scholarships for the band as well.
Nice. And you're a tuba player.
I am a tuba player.
That
I'm
is
actually,
unusual for a female.
Yes, I'm the first girl tuba section leader and drill captain.
Well, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What did you think of your experience on the Springdale Youth Council?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I loved meeting with the mayor and Melissa Reeves. She currently doesn't work there anymore. She moved to Kansas. But I loved being part of the program and actually learning about Springdale and everything.
It wasn't
Go
on
ahead.
anyways. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I loved learning about the community and learning how the inside and out of everything that's working with our society and how every role is really important to make a great community. And so with that, I enjoyed serving, and I also mentored Doug Sprouse. Or wait, not Doug Sprouse. I worked with Doug Sprouse, but I mentored the judge, Jeff HAR-BER, and so that was really cool going into court sessions with him. So I liked learning about the community.
That's a great program.
Yes, it was awesome.
The city and the government.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the, I noticed it said that you were the community service coordinator for National Honor Society. What are some of the types of things that you guys have done?
Oh, yes. So my junior year, I was a board member, and so with that, I actually planned our National Honor Society and Key Club Bingo Night with the Senior Center. And so with that, our students went over to the Springdale Senior Center, and we served them by passing out gifts and purchasing gifts for their prizes, and then we just talked to them and had a fun time with them. And then this year, as a community service coordinator, Natalie Luttrell and I planned our Festival of the Stars event where we got to go to the Arkansas Children's Hospital and package presents and send presents off. I'm actually a Arkansas Children's Hospital ambassador, which means that I serve and represent the hospital because I have had surgeries at the hospital as well. So, yes. Yes,
Really
thank you.
Really proud of you. Use the word serve a lot, and that's a
Community.
Thank you.
you don't hear that often from kids your age. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
We're certainly proud of you. You did a great job up here tonight.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, and recognize your mother? Yes. Let's give her some recognition.
Ms. Eads, if you would join us, please. Board, we have a very special recognition that's to be shared in just a moment. It's our great teachers and principals working with these students are making excellence happen every day. We're very proud of both of you. Ladina, will you share the
Yes,
special
so
acknowledgement?
I would like to introduce Ms. Elizabeth Barker. She began at George Junior High as a teacher in 2004 when the school opened. She went on to become the ESL instructional facilitator, helping to begin the language academy for our level of students, and then proceeded to step into an administrative assistance role, and then assistant principal, and has been the assistant principal since I have been there for the last 4 years. And without her, we could not do what we do at George Junior High. And so it was difficult to keep the secret for 3 weeks. Thank goodness one of those weeks was over Thanksgiving. I didn't have to talk to anybody. But then surprising her on the 7th and actually having people from Little Rock be able to come in the event that we were having snow, and have the whole school honor her as Assistant Principal of the Year for NASSP. So, introduce Ms. Vice Mayor.
Hi, thank you for having me. I would like to say thank you first to the people that I've worked with through the years and currently work with that have helped me kind of get here and help guide me, give me advice, you know, shoot ideas off of things like that. There have been a lot of people along the way who have been very important and very integral to me getting where I am. I'm really proud to be at George. Like she said, I've been at George since we opened, and there's been a lot of changes through the years, good changes. We've had a lot of great things happen, and I think we continue to have that happen. And I have a great faculty and staff that I work with, and great administrative staff as well, and I couldn't do it without them. Our kids need us, and that's why we're there, and that is what's really important to me. So it's been a great journey, and hope to continue it.
So maybe I was mesmerized by your descriptive nature of how you introduced her, but I hope everybody heard her say she's the Arkansas Secondary Principal of the Year.
Yes.
Assistant
Right.
Principal, yeah.
Assistant Principal of the Year.
Yes.
So I don't know that I heard that really loud and clear, but I just want to make sure everybody
That's just
is
a
aware of
simple
that.
part. She's
Yeah.
so wonderful there with all the other stuff she does.
You probably
Yeah,
said it,
that's
but
why.
I was.
Right, yeah.
They
Make
actually
sure
even had
everyone
my dog at the ceremony, so that was quite a surprise when I walked in and she was on the stage with everybody else.
She was happy to see her, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And you're getting to go to New York?
Actually, it's Boston. I didn't know, someone had mentioned Washington, D.C., and I got a letter, and I'm going to Boston in July. And they honor all the representative from each state.
So you have a chance to win. They pick a finalist, or a top 3 out of all the states, and so I have a chance to be the National Assistant Principal of the Year.
That's
so.
awesome. I was reading what everybody wrote about you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And
Thank you. It's a privilege, really, to get to do what I do, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Green? A very familiar face I see joining you in this presentation this evening.
Dr. Rollins, members of the board, as you know, we're blessed with outstanding students within our district. We're blessed beyond measure. We received exciting news back in December regarding SOGIS. There are only 2 students in the state that are named to the United States Senate Youth Program. And it's quite a lengthy process of an application, taking a test, a personal interview, and there's no doubt on why they chose SOGIS to be one of the 2 delegates. With this recognition, SOGIS will be going to Washington, D.C. in March. He's also received a $10,000 scholarship, and you know, he is just an amazing young man. And so I'm proud to introduce SOGIS to you as one of the 2 Arkansas delegates. SOGIS.
Thank you guys for having me. So basically, I'll kind of explain the process of how like the USSYP happened. So it's a very prestigious competition about U.S. government, politics, U.S. history, and so it's a pretty extensive process, like Dr. Grape talked about. So the first thing I had to do was submit an application. So I had to submit a resume. I had to submit an essay about what made a good leader, and also submitted like a separate essay about like my future plans. And so after all that happened, I later received like a phone call, maybe like a month later, telling me I was a semifinalist. And so I had 2 more steps to do. I had to take a test about U.S. government, history, politics, all that, current events. And I also had to go down to Little Rock and give an interview. And it was like a 8-person panel, and it was just like in this room that looked basically like a prison cell. And so they're just staring at you the entire entire time, and so it was kind of scary. But they just asked you about different, what your opinions were on different current events, and see how well-read you were about current events, and just to see that you were very vocal about your political opinions and were able to voice it, but also able to look at the other side and be bipartisan. And so after that interview, we had like a luncheon, and then I didn't hear about my finalist status until like much later, like mid-December, and then so after that, that was it. And so kind of the funny thing was for the interview in Little Rock for the USSYP scholarship, it was pretty tough to make because at the same exact time I was in the Student Congress competition, and so I was serving as Speaker of the House since I was elected, and so I had to step down, go give the interview, and come right back, and so it was just kind of hectic. And I'm glad it all worked out, that they were very considerate of my schedule. So yeah, I'm just glad it all worked out because it was very hectic and stressful.
So how's your year going so far? I mean, I know this is really exciting.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited about this year. It's my last year, so it's kind of sad. But luckily, I was able to get accepted to Brown University, which was my top choice. And so I applied early decision. In mid-December, I heard back from them. And since early decision, you're legally binded. So I'm definitely going to Brown University next fall, so I'm really excited. And I will be doing a double concentration, because in the Northeast, they call it a concentration instead of a major. And then so like a double concentration I'll be doing in theater arts and cognitive neuroscience.
Wow. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
I think Sojas may hold the record for the most appearances before the school. You've been coming here since you were like second or third grade.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's great.
That's what I was going to ask you. You've probably been to more school board meetings than I have because I'm new here. So you've been in the Springdale School District since kindergarten?
Yes.
And so we have so many principals here. Like, how many of these schools have you been to? Like, what was your path to get to Har-BER? Like,
yes, so I first went to Walker Elementary, and then I went to Helen Tyson Middle School, and then I went to Southwest Junior High, and then finally Har-BER High School right now.
So, yeah.
So what do you do now as a delegate? What's next?
So I have to go to Washington, D.C. For March 2nd to 9th, so I'll be out of school for like a week. And while there...
That's too bad.
And so while in Washington, D.C., we'll get to meet like different congressmen, the president, vice president, just like tour different places, get to know the political processes. And since also there's another delegate from Jonesboro who's also going to be serving as an Arkansas delegate, we'll kind of be the escorts for the Arkansas senators. So Tom Cotton and John Bozeman will kind of be introducing them anytime they're going to be addressing the delegation of all the USSYP members.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did you find out about this particular program, and what led you to do this?
Yeah, so I didn't actually think about applying to this like until a week before the deadline. And so like I was just kind of going back and forth on it because what really was stressful was that I knew that if I got accepted to this, I would have to miss regional mock trial. And so mock trial is really important to me. And so I was like talking to my coach like, oh gosh, I really want to do this, but I don't know about this. And so luckily he was gracious enough to let me still compete at state mock trial, even though I won't be at regionals. And so I'll have like this person to kind of substitute for me when I'm not at regionals. But yeah, and I also talked to Pablo Manon. He got it last year. And so he was really encouraging me to do it. He's like, you need to do it. It was so life-changing. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so luckily it worked out. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited. Any other questions?
So just you want to introduce your family members
Yes.
who are here with you?
My mom and dad are with me.
Tell me about Brown University. I know like it's an Ivy League school. We've had
Yes.
several kids from Springdale go there, but
Yes, so Brown University, I guess you could think of it as like the hippie of the Ivy. It's very, very different. And like, so it's not as mainstream as like Harvard or Yale. So they kind of do things differently. So unlike like, especially Columbia, where they have something like a core curriculum, basically you don't get to start your major until your third year. So it's kind of like a bummer because it's like you're gonna be doing all these classes that you probably don't even like. But Brown University completely combats that kind of thinking of you need to take these classes, and instead they have something called an open curriculum, where they say you can start your major your first year, no prereqs, just do whatever you want, just graduate, we don't care. And so they like they do a lot of things to like make sure that you are very successful even after college, especially like for medical school, since I am planning on going to medical school to become a psychiatrist. And they do a lot of things, especially for your GPA. So one of the alternatives you can do, especially like, for example, you're taking a class that you're doing that's really hard and you're not exactly doing well in it, then they have something called a pass-fail system. So you can just switch to a pass-fail system for that class. So anytime, let's just say you submit your transcript to a medical school, they won't even see your grade for that. They'll just see pass or fail. So they won't know if it's an A or a B or a C, so it's like they won't even know. And if you fail a class, it won't even be on your transcript. So it's like they do all sorts of things to like make sure that you are successful in higher education, and medical schools, law schools, no matter what it is, they really see that a lot of successful students come from Brown. Yeah, I'm really excited.
So just let me help you make a tie with Brown in a way maybe you hadn't thought about. Let me give you this name. It's really an enormous contributor to education. Dr. Ted Sizer was instrumental in helping bring Brown forward, and certainly the educational department. Dr. Sizer's been in our school district many times to help us with our training program for the superintendent, for all the teachers, et cetera. So remember that name, Dr. Ted Sizer.
Yes, of course, yes.
More recently, Joe DiMartino has been in our district helping with personalized learning and bringing the School of Innovation forward. Both of those gentlemen are key leaders and alumni of Brown University.
Oh, wow.
So that'd be a good place to start for sure.
Yeah, I definitely will keep those names in mind. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank you. We're so
Thank
proud.
you.
Mr. Jones, will you come forward, please? Board, we're on item D on our agenda this evening. Mr. Jason Jones, our principal at Springdale High School.
It's a tough act to follow. Sojas is pretty relaxed up here. So, well done, Sojas. Dr. Rollins, board, thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to let you know that on December 19th, we hosted a VIP luncheon at Springdale High School. VIP meaning very important partnerships. The luncheon was a partnership of Springdale High School's relationship with business and industry, the partnerships that we have with business and industry. We had over 100 people in attendance. They heard kids speak about our different career and technical education programs, heard kids speak about our different academies, heard from some business partners share some success stories about working with our kids at Springdale High School. So it was a really, really great event, very positive event. The intent of the event was, of course, to celebrate our current partnerships, to expand our network, and to show off our kids. And I feel that we did that. We actually had a meeting this morning with an electrical company that we're taking some significant steps with to expand some opportunities for our kids. So really excited about it. You have a packet of information, a folder there at your seat that has some information in it that kind of describes some of our different programs with career and tech ed and our academies. That's the same information that we handed out at the luncheon. Great information. I encourage you to look through it. It's some information that sets us apart, makes us a little bit unique from most schools, so I encourage you to take a look at it. Any questions for me?
You had a pretty extensive list of attendees, or?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have a great network. We're very blessed. As you know, Springdale High has a great tradition in career and tech education, in the academies, and the advisories that we have is very rich. So we're very blessed to have some powerful partnerships.
I was there, and I know you guys asked for people to volunteer if they wanted to get more involved. Did you have some good response from that?
Yes, sir. Yes, we've got a lot of people willing to come in as guest instructors, help with curriculum, host internships, and that was something that we were very intentional in pursuing, was more businesses willing to take on kids as an intern or have a work experience outside the school day or within the school day. So it was great experience, great turnout, and great results.
Well, Kevin talks about it at every board meeting. I'm just impressed by how well spoken the kids are. I mean, they spoke in front of all those strangers, just like they've been speaking, in front of strangers their whole life. And it was, amazing to hear them tell their story in their own words. And I wish Springdale, Northwest Arkansas could hear all that, because we'd have people flooding into Springdale to come to our schools if they did, so.
Well, it's very impressive, and it's very impressive when you dive into the backgrounds of some of these kids, and then you hear them step up to the mic and take control of the mic and take control of the crowd and really articulate their goals and their vision and their accomplishments. It's impressive. We have great kids. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Great job. Our focus sessions have become a real leading part of every monthly meeting. Ms. Dozier, if you come forward and introduce the observer component of the educational mindset.
All right. First of all, we want to thank you for letting us be here tonight. It's an honor to be able to stand in front of you and let you know some of the great things that are going on in our schools every day. The first thing I want to talk about is this first slide is the Springdale Public Schools Staircase to Educational Excellence, and I know you've seen this many times. Tonight, we're focusing on the last step, which is the innovation, being innovation ready. And then you have been hearing several of the characteristics of the innovator mindset by George Carcass. And you've already heard about being empathetic and being problem finders and risk takers, and how important it is to network. But tonight we're going to be talking about being observant and how important it is in a classroom and in a school for teachers and students to be observant. Tonight, you're going to hear from several of the different schools. You're going to hear from Hunt Elementary. You're going to hear from Shaw Elementary and Elmdale. And then you'll also be hearing from Central Junior High as well as the School of Innovation. You will also, there are cards on your tables. So if you have any questions about the presentation or during the presentation, please feel free to write questions on those, or if you want just to know more about something you hear about tonight, and we'll take those up and get back with you. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Hunt. When you hear about innovation, the first thing that comes to my mind is technology, but it doesn't always have to be technology. Innovation is a new or different mindset, and it's a way of teaching differently. Being observant is really important in a classroom for both the student and the teacher. It's really important for teachers to be observant as they look at their students individually because they need different things. And it's really important for them to know where a student is and what is the next thing they need to take them to the next level. But it's also very important for students to learn to use the being observant to help them take what they already know, and to be able to apply those things to new learnings. So tonight, you're going to see a video clip from our students at Hunt about their perspective of superheroes. And our kindergarten teachers have connected superhero powers with the powers you need to be a good reader. Do you know why people love reading comics or watching movies about superheroes? It's not just because they stretch our imaginations, but because they do amazing things while overcoming adversity. The story becomes so much more compelling when it's not so easy. Success is better because of adversity. What do you know about superheroes?
Sylvia will fly and so Sylvia will fly. Like shoot bow and arrows like the green guy.
Who is your favorite superhero?
Superman. Batman. Flash.
What can you learn from a superhero?
Save the day and never to be scared. We can stop the villains.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Super speed, flying. It would be laser eyes because it can break stuff. Flying up in the air.
What would your costume look like?
It would look like black sparkle. It will be blue.
Who would you help?
Other people. You. My mom and my dad and my brother and my sister. Citizens.
What is your reading superpower?
We have partner power, snapper power. When you get distracted by something, you find a word that you know and start reading from there. Partner power. Picture power. Reread power. Book talk power. Persistent power.
What is your teacher's superpower?
Reading. Math powers. Persistent power, because my teacher never gives up. Separator powers.
Tonight, I'd like to welcome Miss Danielle Hamey and Miss Jamie Cheshire, who are two of our kindergarten teachers, and they've brought some of our kindergartners, Allie and Plan and Asher, who are going to talk to you a little bit about super reading.
Kindergarten is where the story begins. It is our job as educators to instill a love of reading into the little lives that pass through our doors. We do this by, 1, showing them our own love of reading, and 2, by finding an innovative yet personal approach to reaching our students. This is where superheroes come in. Oftentimes, kindergarten is a child's first school experience. We know that it is through observing others that our youngest learners see the joy of reading and all the possibility that comes with it. At Hunt Elementary, every kindergarten student is paired with a 5th grade student as their kinder buddy. From day 1, our students are building relationships while observing reading strategies and skills. The 5th graders come and read to their little friends every week, and as the kindergartners acquire new reading strategies or superpowers, their confidence grows and they begin to take the lead.
Our district has adopted and we have fully embraced the work of Lucy Calkins, a true reading pioneer. In Unit 2, the students are taught the tools to become super readers. Each tool or strategy is presented as a superpower that the students will need in order to become successful, lifelong readers and learners. Students are given the opportunity to put into practice their new reading superpowers daily through Reader's Workshop. This is an excellent opportunity for teachers to observe student reading behaviors, conference, and collect data for future instruction. As a culminating activity for Unit 2, our kindergartners participated in a school-wide parade where they wore capes and masks and were celebrated for becoming super readers. And we have some of our super readers here today that would like to share their superpowers.
Hi, my name is Allie. Pointer power is when you point at the words so you know which word you're on. Picture power is when you look at the picture and you get to a hard word and the picture gives you a clue of what the word says. Sound power is another way to help you know the word. Sound power, you can sound out the word to help you with the word. Reread power is when if you have a word that you said and it doesn't sound right, then you go to the first word that's in the page. Snapword power is my favorite power, and it's when you get something distracts you, and then you find a sight word that you know. Persistence power is when you use all your powers at once when you're reading your book. Book talk power is when you talk about the book after you read it. We like partner powers. We hope it's how to read.
Well, if they haven't impressed you yet.
Don't underestimate me. I know more than I say. I think more than I speak. I notice more than you realize. We may be small, but we are mighty. Thank you.
All right, and our next school is Shaw Elementary. And I believe Miss Shelley Bewley and Miss Voss have some students that they want to introduce.
All right, well, I'm Shelley Bewley from Shaw Elementary, and thank you for letting us come tonight. We're going to talk to you a little bit again about how our innovative practices are going full circle at Shaw Elementary. We're trying to take innovation and observation to a whole new level by involving our business community, organizations, and partnership schools so that we can expand our learning to a higher level at Shaw. And one of my favorite quotes from the George Couros book, he talks about in the observant category how his dream is that someday education will be where businesses and organizations go to look for innovation instead of the other way around. And I think we're already starting to do that a little bit at Shaw. So I have a few students here that are going to share, and if you'll try to stay with us, I think you'll see the full circle of how it's going to come back around. And I'm going to introduce to you Miss Lily Potter, Miss Emma Griggs, and Mr. Cole Searcy.
Hello, my name is Cole, and I'm a 5th grader at Shaw Elementary. Through the 2 years we have had East at Shaw, we have developed a strong partnership with SOI. We have learned that having a partnership with another school allows us to learn things we normally wouldn't. While we observe older students, we become more innovative. Last year, they taught us about 3D printing and design, and this year, they're teaching us about virtual tours and 360-degree photography. It feels good to know we have older students who we can observe to help us with our projects.
Hello, my name is Emma Griggs, and I'm also a 5th grader at Shaw. We realized I'm working on the 360 virtual tour for the Amazium. We reached out to the Amazium to see if a 360 tour would be something they would be interested in having. Through the project, we haven't only learned how to create the tour, but we've also learned a lot of measurement and math. When the project is finished, we hope the Amazium will put it on their website. Then we'll use the knowledge we observed to come and hopefully make one for Shaw.
All right, and the Amazium has been a wonderful partnership for us and with us. I feel like it is truly one of the first times we have embraced the full circle of a partnership. We have opened our Wonder Lab. You all have been in our Wonder Lab. We're on our 3rd year now with our Wonder Lab, and we have opened it to the Amazium to come and showcase to other schools within the district, outside the district, and even outside the state. We've had a visiting author that's come on Maker Spaces to see our Wonder Lab, and the Amazium has coordinated that with us. We have a team of 8 teachers that are participating in the Amazium cohort this year. I point to Ms. Stark because she's videoing, but she's certainly one of those that's featured. We meet once a month at the Amazium. We get to go, and really most of the schools there are just now creating their makerspace. Shaw is using this time to really work on taking our makerspace outside our Wonder Lab into the classrooms, into even the hallways. Our vision, and we've had so many wonderful conversations and just dreaming and wondering and gotten so excited about the opportunity of how we can turn Shaw into more of an Amazium place, a place for kids to wonder and to just question and to really innovate. But that observant quality has really come across as we have looked at the Amazium, observed what they're doing, and how we can bring that back to Shaw.
Hello, my name is Lily Potter. I'm a 5th grader at Shaw. My project is designing small maker spaces so that teachers can bring more innovation opportunities to our students. People in East think it's a good idea because sometimes it's hard to find a time to get into our shared makerspace, the Wonder Lab. We were working with teachers who are learning and observing from the Amazium to expand our makerspace projects so that kids can be risk takers and problem solvers every day.
I just wanted to share, we had a new student enrolled today, and I was giving him the tour, and I took him into our Wonder Lab, and the first thing he said was, "This looks just like the Amazium." And I was like, yes, we did it. We observed from them, and we've applied it, and we're really proud of the innovative practices we're doing. So thank you for the opportunity. And next, we have Elmdale coming up to visit with you.
Thank you, kids.
Hello. So glad to be here. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to come and let our kids shine for you. Today, we did have 2 teachers coming up to talk today, but one of them happened to get very ill this afternoon and was not able to make it. However, I have wonderful Mrs. Velasquez here to take over the job for her, and she is more than willing. So, Ms. Velasquez, come on up.
Hello, thank you for letting us be here. So we have E3, which is our Elmdale Elementary Entrepreneurs. It is made up of 6 teams, and it's after school with 4th graders. We partner with INWAC, and so we have INWAC students coming and helping each of the teams go through the business model and the planning. One of the best things about E3, and that I love, it gives us a chance as teachers to observe the world and society and think about all those values that we want our kids to have and start building that now. And E3 kind of gives us a platform to do that by teaching our kids how to be morally and financially responsible, to be problem solvers, and most importantly, it gives them the tools for them to observe their world and know that they can create their own business opportunities and careers in the future. So in the first phase, they've been researching different product ideas to sell to students at INWAC. So they had to step into the role and observe as a consumer, thinking about what students at INWAC would want to purchase. And they also created a lean canvas model. So they went through all of the steps, which are actually used for entrepreneurs as they're going to create their own businesses. And the second phase was pitching their ideas to Shark Tank, which was a panel of entrepreneurs and business leaders in our community. And so today they're gonna, we have 2 teams here today that are gonna share their pitches with you guys and their products. And one of our teams is short, two little guys, so, but 2 of them are gonna carry the load for them. So they're awesome.
have the dream catchers.
Hi, we are the Dreamcatcher Girls. Hi, my name is Melissa Lauren and I'm 10 years old.
Hi, my name is Annalicia Pagala and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Moderator Chungam and I am 10 years old.
Are you looking for something to decorate your car or room?
Of course you are. Buy our dream catchers to decorate your car or room.
Our dream catcher comes in different sizes and different colors.
We will sell our products for $3.
It will cost $1.55 to make each one.
We will need to borrow a loan of $31.
We are selling 11 dream catchers to pay back.
We will make $1.45 on each dream catcher we sell. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Abraham.
My name is Jose.
And together we are the Amdale Builders.
Do you need some help organizing? Have you ever lost an important paper?
Then we have the product for you. It is called the Storage Caddy.
The big ones cost $4 and the small ones cost $3, and you can put your name for free.
We only need to sell in a loan of $29. Each product only costs us $1 to make.
We will make $3 or $2 on every product.
All right, so and then their next steps are going to be, for the next several months, we're going to be creating the products to sell it in WAC in April, and then the students will pay back their loan and get to keep their profits. Some of them have, and then we show them Shark Tank as we introduce the project to them.
And now Central Junior High will present.
Good evening. I'm not near as cute as those kids, so I'll have to put up with that. So at Central High, innovation meets observation in real world. Central students, through critical thinking, observation, collaboration, and effective communication, engage their curiosity and imagination through CTE classes, coding classes, through our EAST programs, through our core classes. In today's world, it's pretty common for people to go out and record events and to show them, and I'm sure you guys have probably done that on your own social media, vacations and things. At Central, an example of our observation innovation is a collaborative project in which we involve Trent Jones and the Springdale media team, the Springdale athletics program, and our students. Through observation, Central students recognize the need to share Central happenings with the public through YouTube. Central students take pride in observing problems, collaborating with partners, and using diverse ideas to meet the needs of our community. We invite you to enjoy this piece created by Trent Jones, highlighting Central's student-led TV lab and intro to media class taught by Ms. Dana Wright, a class where students wrote, they edit, they create, they produce, and broadcast live stream events at Central, as well as produce Warrior News. So enjoy this video.
What I like about the live stream that our students are doing is that they are student-centered.
whether it's at the high school or whether it's at the junior highs or middle schools, is training the next generation of people that are going to be broadcasting, maybe on ESPN or CBS someday.
Welcome to tonight's game against the Central Junior High 8th grade Warriors and the Bentonville Leopards.
I love working at Central, and I love my little Central Warriors. They work so hard and they have such a wonderful spirit, and literally every week I have to pick only about 10 to 12 kids to come and work, and I have 3, 4, 5 others waiting going, why didn't I get to do it this week?
But the ability to have these students have a practicum, an internship, get that hands-on experience will pay great dividends down the road for these students.
It gives me experience with cameras. I'm exposed to like other people that want to do this job whenever they grow up. Not everyone can make it to these games. So like if you live stream the games, more people can like be exposed, and like maybe 8th graders will see this or 7th graders and they'll be like, oh, I want to be a part of this.
So Central brings innovation and observation to the real world through those experiences. We're the first and only junior high in the state of Arkansas to live stream athletic events and pep rallies, and that is really a benefit to parents and community members. And they plan, the class plans to increase that. This is an example of how Central is a leader in observation and innovation in meeting the needs of the real world. And with that said, I would like to welcome you to observe Ms. Shannon Tischer from the Don Tyson School of Innovation.
Good evening, and thank you for having us this evening. This is Mr. Aaron Tennant. He is a teacher at Don Tyson School of Innovation. And at School of Innovation, our mission is to inspire students to achieve their greatest dreams through innovative education. And we talk a lot with our students about observing the world around them. And when you observe the world around you, you want to learn and discover and pursue passion to go deeper into that world. And so we talk a lot about inquiry, asking questions, investigating, pursuing your passion, exploring. And we work every day at personalizing education for each of our students. And we have found that inquiry is a huge driver of our learner processes and our innovative way of thinking and approaching learning at our school. And so we have a video that we're going to show you that Mr. Tennant and his students have produced, and he's just going to give you a little bit of background, and then we'll play the video.
Hi, everybody. Really, I just wanted a chance to publicly brag on my students. I'm blown away by their enthusiasm, learning things from them every day. It's really exciting. So in this video, you're going to get to see a couple of really neat things. You're going to get to see students choosing their own questions that they want to investigate. You'll get to see them choosing their own learning goals. You'll get to see them choosing how they're going to approach those learning goals. And it's a really exciting process, so I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, and in the video, too, you'll see them navigating our learning management system. We use Schoology in our whole district now. And so you'll get to see from their perspective what it's like to choose their learning goals and to navigate through that learning management system as well.
Being observant is an important aspect of the innovator's mindset. As a teacher, I would argue that being observant of my students is priority number one. As Dr. Rollins has said, learning begins with relationships, and what better way to learn and to be innovative than to be observant of our students' inherent interests. What do they like? What motivates them? Where do they come from? Who inspires them? What inspires them? This semester, our class has implemented a personal learning model to promote inquiry-driven, project-based learning so students can truly take the wheel on their educational journey. It all begins with asking a great question and defining some clear learning goals.
My name is Camilla, and my question is how to drive.
How has fashion evolved over time?
My topic is what causes autism.
How technology has advanced over time. is why do we explore space?
Explain the time that the weapons, knives, and the spike and the hammer were made. Can I explain the time that they were made in?
Why do loved ones hurt you the most?
How do you know if your friends are real friends?
When the student goes to Schoology, they go to their class, they have a project folder, and in that folder they have really key forms, right? One's the proposal form. That describes their whole project. It's all right here. It's got the learning goals in it. The learning goal form, okay, here, right?
So if we click on learning goals, it'll take you to this setup of all your core classes. You can pick 2 questions or structures that you may have not learned yet in your class. For example, you can pick this one from English, and you can pick this one from math. Or you can do the same with social studies in math or science in English.
And then you start researching about it, and you understand it more and get more in-depth in your question, and then you can teach other people about it.
And then you would create a project, maybe a book, an app, or something you can visibly show somebody and teach them about with. Or play. Next link. This next link is called Inquiry Project Ideas. If we click on this, it'll bring you to a ton of ideas that you can make with your project. Like for your question, you can make a film documentary about it, or you can make a podcast or write a novel about your question.
The inquiry proposal form, you're actually filling it out right now. This is the inquiry proposal form. So yours is how has bullying prevention prevented bullying? I like that. How do you know how to where are all the learning goals, and how can you see all the learning goals and what's available?
Ta-da!
Aha, they're all right there, huh? Very cool. You found that quick. Good job. You passed the test.
Yeah!
Neglected to say at the beginning, but all of the students featured in the video tonight are 6th grade students. And so, as you know, this is our first year to have 6th graders in our building, and they've been with us for 1 semester, and they have investigated and inquired and learned a lot of things about the world around them. Was there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Tennant?
Yeah, we'd like to send you an invitation to their project fair in the spring, so you can expect that. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Governor will come back.
All right, and as we wrap up tonight, I just hope that you have been able to learn a little bit from the teachers and students of the schools represented, how important being observant is and how that impacts being innovative. So I don't know if we have any parents of students left tonight.
Right here.
We have some? Yep. Please stand up, and we'd like to recognize you. Students, if you'll stand up one more time, you were amazing. So if our students would stand up. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Before I just open this session on school board training, I'd like for you to know that this evening, Dr. Marcia Smith is in Washington, D.C., working with the U.S. Department of Education on the new science standards. Ms. Fink and Christy Norwood, our principal at Jones and our new assistant principal at the junior high level, are in San Diego working at a national conference there, sharing the Springdale story on whole child education. So it's great to see our people growing and contributing to presentations at the national level. You have a copy of the work session agenda, or at least portions of it, that members of our board participated in December. The AP SRC group centered in Little Rock led the initiative, and from my perspective, provided one of the finer board trainings that we've had in a long, long time. That was my perception. Who in the group was there that evening? Debbie, Randy, Mike? Y'all want to pick up on that and just share your perspective? I thought it had a little different flavor than maybe some that we've had over time.
Food was awesome.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Food was really good.
Yeah, food was good, but what about the training? Let's talk about that.
The training was, I mean, it was, like you said, it was really good. It was presented a little bit differently than we've had it presented to us in the past, which makes it a little more interesting.
It was.
But at the end of the day, it's a lot of the same stuff we've hashed out before, but just maybe a little different twist on it. So.
Well, it was all new to me.
Yeah.
Debbie, what was your take?
You know, I thought it was really good because it was a lot of really practical advice, like some of the, you know, as a new board member, the legal rules and regulations we have to follow kind of are a little bit intimidating to me. And I thought there were some really good, like just factual, like charts, and you can do this, you can't do this, this is how you need to do
And
it.
did y'all understand that this organization is preparing to establish Northwest Arkansas Regional Office? Did y'all hear that come out in the presentation?
I didn't hear that.
I believe that's in their plans. And so, do what, son? Yeah, right.
It's already been established here.
Well, it's en route, that's for sure, but it's
place of the co-op, or is
no,
it
it's not taking.
coordination with the co-op?
It's just growing the partnership of providers, really. Mike, your take on the program?
Well, this is going to sound kind of silly, but the topic about the marijuana in schools, I mean, I think about that a lot from my profession in workers' comp insurance, and just how, you know, everybody was quick to approve that the last time we had an election about it, but in terms of how do you manage it in the schools, how do you manage it in the workplace, it's a big challenge. And so now as we're trying to figure it out, or they're trying to help us figure it out, whether it's in a school or in a workplace, it's an interesting slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's just good. It's good to hear about it.
I agree. If you have a chance, I think it might be good to just review some of the slides, Kevin, that are presented here this evening. And again, good background information. We all need to be very focused on the adequacy issue, the Arkansas funding matrix. That will be a big part of the legislative session, which starts just in a few days. So we're meeting in Little Rock tomorrow and Thursday as superintendents in the state to try to get a better feel for initiatives coming forward legislatively. The governor's already outlined a number of initiatives that he's very interested in. Obviously, his reform of school government is, or not school government, state government is major. The adequacy piece we're very interested in from the standpoint of us continuing to be able to have adequate funding for the schools. So a lot of good information there for sure. Without question, the choice initiatives will be front and center again in this legislative session. APSRC is a major advocate for choice initiatives across the state. And this Saturday at the Convention Center, the choice symposium, if you will, or summit, will be on display again, and Springdale will have numerous schools represented from the SOI forward in regard to, again, choice opportunities in our schools. So if you had an opportunity, a time to go by there early in the morning, it's something you might enjoy. Mr. President, questions about anything that you'd like me to talk with you about?
Not currently.
Okay. Shall we continue with our agenda? Y'all want to take a stretch? Or?
I'm good. I'm good.
You good? Okay. Dr. Cleveland, if you will, come forward and we'll continue our agenda.
Were you clapping?
I thought you were somebody else.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. I'll try to be brief then, Mr. Luttrell, to help you on that. In an effort to be brief, we have some petitions for out-of-district transfer into our district. We have 3 students that would like to come in from Fayetteville and 3 students that would like to come in from Rogers. Those are listed in your agenda on page 48. If you don't have any questions on that, I'd ask for you to be able to approve those.
Make a motion to accept the transfers as presented.
I have a motion by Mrs. Cook and a second by Mr. Emerson to approve the transfers as stated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, thank you. The second item that I'm responsible for this evening is to report on school board training as required in Act 589 of 17 and Arkansas Code 613, 629. You can see your training hours on page 49. Ms. Cynthia Newman does an excellent job keeping up with your hours, as I'm sure you also have. If you have any questions about those, you need to see Ms. Cynthia Newman. I'm just the reporter. It is required every year to make this annual report at a board meeting, and so we're fulfilling that obligation this evening. If you have any questions about
Well, we're all in compliance.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Pretty close.
If you look in the law, it allows you to carry over hours from the three previous years, if you have any additional carryover hours. With no questions, I will consider, Mr. Luttrell, that my report is over. Is that all right, Mr. President?
Hey, we're good.
Okay. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you.
Kelly, ready?
Good evening, Board. Dr. Rollins. I have 2 items for you this evening. The first item, we have 2 disclosures that we would like to, that I would like to present to the board this evening. The first one involves Heather Parrish. Heather is the computer lab manager at J.B. Hunt Elementary, and Heather she does baking, cooking, decorating, cookie decorating, stuff like that. She's been approached several times by different groups asking if she could perform this service, and so in order for her to be able to do that, we would need to disclose this relationship to the board. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on Ms. Parrish.
If she's been approached several times, this is for one specific event. Would we have to approve it every time she is approached?
No, before she could do anything, we have to have this disclosure.
Because that one lists, like, I think, is it Central Junior High?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it covers it for a year.
Right. It would be covered for, actually, we're asking for a 2-year.
Oh, so even if it's not Central Junior High, even if it's somebody else?
Right. It would be for anything in the district.
That's what I was, like, if she's been approached by multiple organizations.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So do we vote for them one at a time?
Do you need a motion for just her? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, well, Mr. Luttrell stepped out, so let's go ahead and if y'all want to do them both together?
Yeah.
Okay. The second disclosure is Mr. Luttrell is for Nicholas Luttrell. Nicholas Luttrell is the son of Mike Luttrell, and Nicholas is in a part of the media program for our district, and so that's expensive equipment that we have to work with, and so it's restricted as to which students can operate that. He has gotten that training, and so when we video athletic events and things like that, they're paid a nominal fee, and so we would like to disclose that relationship and receive approval by the board with this relationship with Mr. Luttrell.
But that's part of his class.
Yes.
And education, right?
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the disclosures under Act 1599.
Who got the second? I have a motion by Mr. Emerson and a second by Mr. Dawson to approve the contract disclosure forms. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much. And just so you know, normally we have to disclose to the state if it's a school board member's relative, but there is a dollar figure, and as long as we're under the dollar figure, which I want to say it's 10,000, so I don't think there will be any problem with that at all. The second item that I have for you this evening, Board, is the December financials. As I've stated to you previously, because taxes are due in November, everyone pays, November. Everyone pays their tax bill, and so we always at this time of year have a pretty healthy balance on our books. However, that ends up balancing out because in the late June, we have heavy payouts for our contracted individuals. So anyway, this is pretty true to form of where we are this time every year. You can see on the revenue report, we're right in line with where we were last year, a little ahead as a matter of fact. And on the expenditure report, once again, right in there. So things are looking good the first 6 months. I'll be happy to answer any questions or try to that you may have.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Hudson and a second by Mrs. Creek. Approve the monthly financials as stated. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Ms. Tucker, you ready? Got you up early tonight, didn't we?
I know. Well, it's great to be back. It was fun to be back with our students today after we had our professional development yesterday, and just to see their smiling faces after our break was very nice. Legislative session starts Monday. Yay, that's always exciting. And as always, SEA will be paying close attention to any legislation that will affect our students. And we are looking forward to working with our new legislators and with Representative Godfrey and with Lance Eads, who will now be serving as our senator, and a member of the Education Committee, which I'm very excited about. Should be a great thing. But it's also School Board Appreciation Month, and we just wanted to thank you all very much for what you do. I know that it takes a lot of your time, and y'all are very dedicated and committed to it, and you have to be doing that because you love our kids, or you would not be willing to give your time for this. And as a teacher, it always warms my heart to know that there are others who love our students as much as we do. So thank you very much for all you do and for your time that you give for us. So have some treats for y'all from SEA. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My teacher basket.
Thank you.
$1.
Thank you. It's like one of those 31 baskets.
It looks like.
Is that it?
Mr. President, that concludes our regular part of the agenda.
Okay, we're going to adjourn to executive session, and we will re-adjourn at some point in time.